Shout it out for pre-K. Good job, pre-K. And now we have our attendance awards with Ms. Schweitzer. So I believe we're going to start with pre-K and then work our way up. If we call your name, you are going to receive your attendance button today.
You should put music on and I can dance. And I'll pay attention.
Okay, boys and girls, I want to say something important here. Some of you may not understand this because you might be a little too young to understand it, but there was a new law passed this year that the state of Texas says that children who leave early in the day and children who are tardy, that counts against you as far as what is called in the law parts of the day. So many times in the past years we've been giving out attendance awards for those kids who are here every day, and we call that perfect attendance, but we never look at how many times they're tardy, how many times you go out early, and really there's a lot of students on that list that can be taken out of school 10, 12 times. Tardies 10, 15 times. And you know, that I think about that, and I'm kind of glad that law was passed, because see, that law has always applied to secondary children, those in 6th grade and up. And when you get well, in middle school, they require you to go to Saturday school or detention after school to make up that time. And high school is most important because they're on degree plans, and attendance is very important. And if you're not making those attendance requirements, then they make you go, and if you don't go, you can be retained. And that means you're not going to go to the next grade. And so it's very important for those students when they get there. And you know where attendance becomes important? When you're at this grade, starting with pre-K and up. Your teacher can tell you to be at school every day. Your mom, some parents don't care, believe it or not. I've had parents ask me, oh, they're in so-and-so grade, they have to be here every day? I've had that question asked me many, many years. And I say yes, once they enroll in school, then they belong at school. You can't just take out a child out of school and keep them at home and do whatever you want to do during the day with them. They have to be at school. So that's why I stress every morning to you to be at school. And if you have a relative, a cousin, or your neighbor next door, and you know they're at school, you be proactive and you tell them, you need to be at school, it's important. Because you get behind in what you're learning, then you have to try and make it up. There might be an important test, and on it goes, and it affects you. And I know some students, every year, they can be in 2nd grade right now, and when they started in pre-K, they have 10, 12, 15 absences every year, and it affects them. That word means it hurts their grade because they're not learning everything they should learn. And then they wind up getting behind in their learning. And then you struggle, and then you get upset because you don't know the material. So please, if you're the one that's telling mama, it's too cold this morning, I don't want to get up, you need to say to yourself, I need to get up and be in school because I got a lot of learning to do and I don't want to get behind. Okay? So it's very important that you're here every day. So keeping that new law in mind, I decided to give out attendance buttons, are called. They're not called perfect attendance. And these attendance buttons are to those students that have 0 absences, and they have, I didn't go real strict because I could have, we have a lot of kids in this category. So what I did was take out those children that have 3 or more tardies, 3 or more early outs. Because I think, as the law says, parts of those days start adding up, and that can accumulate or add up to your being out for a full day. So it's important that you also tell your mom, especially the older children, if you don't have a doctor's excuse, you really should be in school the full day. Tardy bell rings at 8:10, dismissal bell's at 3:50. That's what time you need to be at school, okay? Everybody understands that. So these kids don't have just perfect attendance, meaning 0 absences. These kids only have 0 or 1 or 2 early outs or tardies. Now next year that list, if we don't improve on that, meaning that there's certain students that keep getting pulled out, keep coming in tardy, we might have to change that rule again, okay? So these are kids that are here all the time, basically is what it amounts to. I'm talking all day, okay? Now, what I do ask is teachers, since these pins have buttons rather, have a pin on them, if you would please, especially pre-K, kinder, maybe even first, make sure they don't put on the button yet. So when you get your button, please hold on to it. Don't open it up. Maybe the pre-K kinder can grab them for themselves and hold on to them. You can put them on your backpack, but it's very important that you not try and stick it on yourself. You might hurt yourself, okay? All right, I'm going to go by grade level, so teachers help me out if you see the students in your class and they don't hear their name or they're not getting up quickly enough or there's not a room, help them and get up and pull them up here. Guide them up here, please. All right, with pre-K, and they're not in alpha order. We tried to get that list that way, but it just wasn't working. Okay, pre-K, Johan Lira. Okay, there's 133 kids. Okay, that's a lot of kids. Okay, that's a little over a fourth of our school, or a little under. So, who's my button person? Andrea, please. So you would hold your applause after every grade level. Now I'll tell you when we're done with that grade level. So this is pre-K. So they can stand up here until we're done. Teacher can stand with them. Jorge Lopez. Anelia Soto. Please hold your applause. Andrew Guerra. Isabella Lopez. Jacob Sauceda. Amaris Vargas. Jade Alcocer. Oh no, hold on with Jade. All right, right here.